Ronnie, right now I'm at Washington and Main Streets, and this is the spot to be. Dozens of locals here listening and dancing to live music. I went inside and election judges tell me a little more than 1,500 people have voted so far. That's just for Carterville's precincts 1 through 4. Right now, I'm kind of in the middle of all the protesters. As you can see behind me, dozens of people holding signs. They were doing a lot of chants just a couple of minutes ago. But I'm actually with local David Jones. He's with Alliance for Retired Americans. Now, he worked at Whirlpool here for 42 years. That's since closed down. But he was telling me earlier that you believe President Trump has broken a campaign promise. Go ahead and tell me a little bit about that. Now, I was actually there when the results came in, and of course, a loud cheer from everyone inside. But if we walk over this way, what you're going to see is a bunch of sheep, and they're actually here for the FFA livestock show tomorrow morning. It was high energy at the airport tonight. The last few shuttles just leaving moments ago, but let me tell you, at 8:30 it was packed inside with supporters wearing their red, white, and blue and waving these American flags. Now, of course, this put a lasting smile on veterans' faces. The guy working at the hot dog stand right here, he hopes to sell out, go home early, but the restaurant should be open till 10 and might get some overflow of visitors leaving the rally. The fire chief is set to retire later this year, but this was the last day for the police chief after holding the spot for nearly 2 years. I'm outside of his campaign office right here off of Route 13 next to the Sunny Street Cafe. Now, this is a relatively safe area, but that's one of the issues staffers complained about. They said minorities were mostly placed in offices in Chicago's west and south sides, and that stores around them were frequently robbed. However, I spoke with local experts who say allegations like that are not enough to sway the race. Carolyn, Jason Seaman teaches 7th grade science in Noblesville, Indiana. Back in May, a student excused himself during a test. That student returned with 2 handguns, opening fire and wounding a classmate. Seaman tackled the shooter, taking 3 bullets himself to save the rest of his class. DACA has been a huge issue in recent weeks, so focusing on immigration, what can we expect to hear from the president tonight? The WHO based its decision off 3 criteria. 1, gaming is strongly preferred over other activities. 2, the gamer does not stop even when there are negative consequences. And 3, compulsive gaming strains a person's life and relationships. Now, this applies to games that are played on consoles, computers, and phones. The gamers I spoke with did see how gaming can be addictive, but do not see a need for the label. GOP senators unveil their tax plan as the push to give all Americans relief from taxes continues. Paducah resident Austin Damron passed away in March from a heroin overdose. The heroin was laced with fentanyl, which is 50 to 100 times more powerful than morphine. Even more tragic, Austin died on his 28th birthday.
Really, it's a miracle.
Co-owner of Thai D restaurant, Tanet Natisri, was in Thailand working on a water project when he got a call from the country's military to help with rescue operations.
I think it's going to be a simple operation at the beginning with, because, just kid trapped inside the cave.
When arriving on scene, he realized the seriousness of the situation.
The whole place is just crowded with people. You could really get in and out because there's too many cars blocking the entrances.
Natisri believes he was the only American to lead a group of volunteers. He worked from 7 a.m. until sundown, followed by hours of planning for 13 days.
We got about 20 deep wells that pump out groundwater 24/7. I kind of lead the team of the the team of the soldiers and the villager to find the sinkhole where the water go into the cave.
Natisri says he and his teammates also alerted officials they were running out of time.
We have about less than 6 days before the heavy rain come in. So if we didn't do the rescue before that, the cave would be flooded.
He says this pushed officials to start the dive rescue operations, which saved the boys and their coach. Although Natisri and many other volunteers never got the chance to meet the team, he's grateful everyone came together.
I'm really thankful for everyone. I mean, in this situation, everybody is hero.
Reporting in Marion, Brooke, Schlyer, News 3.
I voted for Donald Trump because I was hoping he would do something to save our plant.
Randy Troyer has been working at CTS Corporation in Elkhart, Indiana for 24 years.
Automotive. We make parts for Honda, Toyota, and Cummins.
He found out the plant was closing 2 years ago and had hoped President Trump would save the factory.
And my job, along with the other hundreds of people that work there.
Instead, Troyer says the company is sending those jobs to other countries.
They're going to Mexico, China, Taiwan, and other places we probably can't pronounce.
He recently joined activist group Good Jobs Nation and decided to attend the rally to send a message to President Trump.
Where are you? What have you done? All the promises you made, what have you done to keep my job here in America? All the other jobs that we're seeing going away.
Stand up, fight back! While protester LAURIE EWERS joined Indivisible Evansville about a year ago.
I have a lot of friends and a lot of family who just doesn't do anything. They don't want to get involved.
EWERS says she's disappointed in President Trump's morals.
I'm tired of the insults that President Trump has done. It was just outrageous. I mean, that's what really wanted me to start to do something.
She just hopes there'll be change in the midterms and next presidential election.
Get out and vote. Get out and vote, people.
I love you all. I really do. And thank you very much, and God bless you.
With a tear in his eye, veteran Carl Campanella is presented with his World War II medals, including a European, African, Middle Eastern Theater Campaign Medal with 3 bronze battle stars.
It is just a great, great surprise.
Campanella enlisted in the Army at 20 years old, mainly loading shells into a howitzer which fired ammunition over hills.
They would point out a target, and they would tell you to fire. And then the third one, bingo, right on the money.
Campanella fought in the Battle of the Bulge, the last German offensive on the Western Front, recalling a time he escaped death while trying to get water for troops.
We passed up about 6 or 7 tanks, and they kept waving us, we thought.
It was actually a warning that enemies were up ahead. Campanella had to think fast as bullets began spraying the mechanic truck he was driving.
If you don't think that you can't turn the truck around, lying flat on the floorboard with a gear shift, it can be done.
Campanella's daughter says growing up, her dad never discussed his service time.
It was almost taboo to talk about it. I do remember, however, nightmares.
It wasn't until she reunited Campanella with a wartime friend 10 to 15 years ago that he began opening up.
He thinks it's the best thing that ever happened to him, going to the war and having the experiences that he did.
Now, all that come to visit Campanella will know he served the country.
I want to hang him on the wall where everybody comes see him when they come in the front door.